Bhagavat Geeta Season 1 Episode 1 Dhritarashtra said, "Assembled at Kurukshetra at Dharmashetra and eager for combat, O Sanjay, what did my and Pandu's sons do?" Dhritarashtra is the very image of ignorance, and Sanjay is the embodiment of self-restraint. Ignorance lurks at the core of the objective, the outward-looking mind. With his mind enveloped in darkness, Dhritarashtra is blind since birth, but he sees and hears through Sanjay, the epitome of self-control. He knows that God alone is real, but as long as his infatuation for Duryodhan, born from ignorance, lasts, his inner eye will be focused on the Kaurav, who symbolize the ungodly forces of negative, sinful impulses. The human body is a field for combat. When there is abundance of divinity in the realm of the heart, the body is transmuted into a dharmashetra, field of dharma. But it generates into a kurukshetra when it is infested with demoniacal powers. Kuru means do, and the word is an imperative, as Lord Krishna has said, driven by the three properties born out of Prakriti or nature, man is compelled to act. Without action, he cannot even live for a moment. These properties, virtue, ignorance, and passion, compel him to act. Even in sleep, action does not cease, for it is the necessary sustenance for the body. The three properties bind men from the level of gods to that of the lowest creatures, such as worms. So long as the material world and its properties are Kuru, must be. Therefore, the sphere of birth and death of sinful impulses which are evolved from a previous source or Prakriti is Kurukshetra, whereas the sphere of righteous impulses which guide the self to God, the highest spiritual reality, is Dharmashetra. Archaeologists are engaged in research in Punjab, Kashi, and Prayag to locate Kurukshetra, but the poet of the Gita has himself suggested through Lord Krishna where the war of his sacred poem was fought. This body is itself, O Arjun, a battlefield, and one who conquers it grows spiritually dexterous by perceiving its essence. He then elaborates the structure of this battlefield. Sphere of action constituted of 10 perceptors. The objective and the subjective mind, the ego, and all five perversions, object carriers, tanmatra, of the five senses of perception, word, touch, form, taste, and smell. These are the five objects of the senses and the three properties. The body itself is a field, a ring, or an arena. The forces that clash on this battlefield are twofold: the godly and the ungodly, the divine and the devilish, the offspring of Pandu and those of Dhritarashtra, the forces that are congenial to the essentially divine character of the self and those which offend and demean it. The clue to the mystery of the conflict between the opposed impulses begins to be seen when one turns for enlightenment to an exalted sage who has enriched himself with worship and meditation. This field belongs to one who realizes its essence, and the war fought on it is the only real war. History is crowded with wars of the world, but the victors in these wars have but sought in vain for a permanent conquest. These wars were nothing beyond acts of retribution. True victory lies in subduing matter and in perceiving, as well as becoming one with the Supreme Spirit that transcends it. This is the only conquest in which there is no prospect of defeat. This is true salvation, after which there are no fetters of birth and death. The mind lying in the abyss of ignorance, the mind lying in the abyss of ignorance perceives through self restraint and thus knows what has transpired on the battlefield, where fighters include even those who have known its reality. Vision is ever in proportion to mastery of the mind and the senses.